What happens when the GM doesn't write down the house rules? Let me describe the situation. Let me rant about these strange rules that my GM had. Regarding attacks of opportunity, there are tons more stuff that can provoke attacks of opportunity. What things exactly? Well, you don't know until an attack of opportunity is provoked upon you, and you don't get to take attacks of opportunity unless you call out specifically that you do so when the opportunity arises. Here are some examples. Moving into a threatened square instead of out of it, drawing weapons, checking inventory, using a skill such as diplomacy or intimidation, activating command word magic items, and taking longer than 15 seconds in real life time to decide what to do on your round. Of course, there are some banned spells, and you don't get to know what they are until you try to cast them. Banned spells include all save or die, teleport, polymorph, summon creatures, most illusions, and a random assortment of divinations. GM didn't want us to win a fight except through the combat he envisioned in his mind, and he didn't want us to get to the destination except by going through his obstacle course. My foolish sorcerer took teleport as soon as he could. When we were ambushed en route, I tried to teleport the group back to safety. The spell failed, and I lost my turn. GM told me not to prepare that spell anymore, and it took me 3 weeks in real life time to get him to let me pick a different 5th level spell to learn instead of teleport. Of course, some spell effects may have changed. What spells? Don't know. What changes? It's not clear. One time, a fellow player's character's arm was chopped off, and regenerate was changed so that it no longer regenerates lost limbs. The GM had his character slowly develop a baby arm for the next 6 months of sessions. You know Mind Blank, the spell that explicitly states that only a wish or miracle can bypass its effects? He one time pretended I didn't have the spell active, duration 24 hours, and then told me that it was too late to take it back because what was done was done. I was contesting this as it happened. Supplemental books are conditionally allowed, only the ones that the GM owns in person. Since this is an online game, we don't have the option to peruse his collection, and he won't tell us what source books he owns. If he owns a book but doesn't know where it is, then you can't use the material. And no, he doesn't look for things if you ask him to. His general attitude is that the player's handbook is for players, and everything else is for the GM and the GM alone. Apparently, some retcons are allowed. Occasionally, he'd decide that he didn't like the direction we had taken, and will sometimes retcon up to 3 sessions as to not have happened. He takes us back to when we made the first decision he didn't agree with, then have us take the option he wanted us to take all along. Cinematic cutscenes exist. We've all been players who had a chance to strike as the villain monologues, and of course, you take it. When the idiot is distracted smelling their own farts, you initiate the combat with a surprise round in your party's favor. In this dude's game, if someone was monologuing, you weren't allowed to do anything, because cinematics. Sometimes he would use cinematics to lead the party into a trap, against our own will. Sometimes he makes decisions for our characters during the course of a cinematic. The worst offense was when we finally found the boss of the current arc, some devil who made their base in the former courthouse of the town. we arrive and cue cinematic. The party attempts to get the drop several times, but combat cannot be initiated. Then, during the course of the cinematic, DM had the party walk into a pitfall. By the way, total party kills can be used as a plot device. When you want the party to know you mean business, or they aren't going where you wanted them to, or if they say something out of character that you don't like, consider a TPK. Easy and cheap. TPKs can be achieved at any level, from 1 all the way to 20. Nothing carries forward the momentum of a fun adventure like being surprised with Cloud Kill at level 3. And when the party wakes up, they owe their life to whoever revived them. It's the perfect plot driving mechanism. Yeah, I don't know if we could be friends if I had someone pull half this stuff on me. Retconning a session is a gaming sin, and to be able to not only retcon, but overwrite the player's decisions is just going way too far. What do you all think about this situation?